So how did you come up with this idea for kind of helping people understand what people who are experiencing schizophrenia are going through?
Well, I began to realize that on a lot of college campuses, when they were training rehabilitation students to understand, for instance, the experience of having a mobility impairment, that they'd actually have students go in a wheelchair and try to navigate campus. And I said, I really want to convey to students and professionals what the experience of hearing these distressing voices is like. But I wanted it to be more than sort of a trippy experience that people would just sort of kick back and say, this is so weird. I wanted people to have to encounter some of the challenges that those of us with psychiatric disorders are challenged with in just moving through a regular day.
It was incredibly isolating. I mean, to be out on the street and having these voices talking to me, often saying very negative things about what I was doing, what I was thinking, about how I should act. It made me feel incredibly isolated from other people, and even to the point where I wanted to talk back to the voices, even though, I mean, I obviously knew, you know, they were just voices on an iPod.
Well, everyone reacts really differently, and it's interesting that your reaction was to want to talk back to them. Some people want to cower and avoid them, but I do think it is an isolating experience because you do have a sense that others are not having the same experience or sharing the same sort of auditory experience that you're having. And so I think what a lot of us do is tend to walk around and feel very alone with it, and then it gets reinforced by society's stigma of it.
So how does one deal with it? I mean, I cannot imagine dealing with this. I mean, I did it for 45 minutes. I cannot imagine dealing with this for an entire day, let alone years of one's life.
Well, I think there are many ways that people deal with it, but I'll ask you, what did you do to manage when you first were having this experience?
I mean, I kept looking at the clock thinking, okay, there's only 3 more minutes of this test that I have to do, because I couldn't really function. I mean, I'm not great with numbers, but I could not come up with any, I couldn't do anything on the number test. And just walking down the street was just